Urgent. UK pensioners over 60 face cash access crisis, banks limit. Withdrawals in 2025. Millions of UK pensioners have been caught off guard as major banks roll out new cash withdrawal rules that could block access to physical money. Seniors over 60 are reporting sudden limits, branch closures, and ATM restrictions, leaving them struggling to access even basic funds for groceries, bills, and emergencies. With the government pushing a digital-first economy and banks moving faster than expected, pensioners are asking, can they really stop us from accessing our own money? This is more than just inconvenience. It's a financial emergency for older adults who rely on in-person banking. Today, we break down what has changed, who is most affected, and the exact steps you must take this week to protect your cash before it's too late. Welcome back to State Pension Update, your trusted source for the latest news on pensions, DWP changes, and banking rules. If you're over 60 or supporting someone who is, this update is essential. We'll guide you through the new banking restrictions, explain the risks, and show you how to stay in control of your money even as the UK moves rapidly toward a cashless society. Welcome back to State Pension Update. In today's urgent breaking news, millions of UK pensioners have been caught off guard as new banking rules around cash withdrawals have come into effect. These changes, which could drastically limit or even prevent access to physical money for older citizens, are already causing disruption across the country. For many over 60s who rely heavily on branch-based services, the impact has been immediate and alarming. Withdrawal limits have been reduced, some branches are closing without notice, and pensioners are finding themselves suddenly forced into digital banking solutions they are neither familiar with nor comfortable using. As the push towards a cashless society accelerates, older adults are asking an urgent question. Can banks legally block access to our own money? And what can we do to protect ourselves? Today, we will break down the changes, explore who is most affected, and explain exactly what steps pensioners need to take this week to safeguard their cash. The move away from cash has been gradual for years, but the latest updates mark the most aggressive push yet by major UK banks. Several branches have quietly implemented new rules limiting how much cash customers, particularly seniors, can withdraw without warning. While banks frame this as a response to fraud, operational costs, and the drive toward digital services, critics argue that it disproportionately targets those who rely on cash daily. Pensioners have reported increased identity checks, sudden limits on withdrawals, and notices that cash is unavailable, signaling clearly that banks want to phase out cash faster than anyone anticipated. These changes are hitting rural areas hardest, where alternatives like ATMs or nearby branches are limited, leaving many older adults feeling cut off from the system entirely. Banks explain that rising operational costs, security risks, and fraud prevention are the main reasons for restricting cash access. Maintaining cash machines, transporting money, and staffing branch desks is no longer cost-effective. Internal memos reveal that many institutions see digital banking as the future and removing cash as a way to save millions. While these explanations hold some truth, consumer advocacy groups warn that economic convenience for banks is only part of the story. The drive to phase out cash is creating significant challenges for seniors who depend on in-person banking and lack digital skills, leaving them vulnerable to financial exclusion. For pensioners, the effects are severe. Over 60s rely more heavily on cash than any other group, using it for weekly expenses, paying bills, and budgeting. Branch closures or withdrawal limits force them to travel long distances, switch banks, or use ATMs that may no longer meet their needs. Many seniors report being told to use cash machines, even when ATM limits are lower, or certain denominations are unavailable. The shift is creating additional stress and financial instability for those who have managed their money in traditional ways for decades. ATMs across the UK are being updated with lower daily withdrawal limits, reduced denominations, and sometimes new fees. Where pensioners previously withdrew £200 to £300, limits are now often capped at £80 to £100, and evening withdrawals are restricted in some locations for security reasons. With these machines frequently out of service or limiting access, older adults must now make multiple trips to withdraw even small amounts, placing additional strain on mobility and time. Branch closures have accelerated the problem further. The number of UK bank branches closing in 2024 and 2025 has set records, leaving thousands of pensioners without convenient access to cash or staff assistance. While banks argue that most customers now use online banking, this fails to account for millions of older adults who are not digitally connected. Without local branches, the risk of financial isolation increases dramatically, forcing seniors to depend on friends, family, or expensive alternative services. The government maintains that it is monitoring the situation, but continues to support the transition toward a digital-first economy. While access to cash guarantees exist on paper, pensioners report that they are often ineffective in practice. MPs have voiced concerns that vulnerable adults are losing control over their money, while banks continue to push digital solutions aggressively. Fraud checks, which are intended to protect customers, are being used in some cases to block withdrawals for days or weeks, leaving pensioners unable to access funds for rent, emergencies, or family support. The push toward digital banking is creating additional pressure on older adults. Many banks are reducing or eliminating paper statements, charging for services that were once free, and offering insufficient tutorials for those unfamiliar with online banking. This not only frustrates seniors, but can put them at risk of digital scams or errors. Critics warn that if the trend toward a cashless society continues unchecked, millions of pensioners could be left unable to pay for services that still require cash. Without physical money, individuals lose autonomy, privacy, and the ability to manage everyday spending independently. For pensioners, immediate action is essential. Check your bank's latest withdrawal policies, consider switching to branches that still provide cash services, or arrange regular withdrawals to maintain access to funds. Those in rural areas may need to keep small emergency reserves to avoid being caught off guard. The changes we are seeing are not temporary. They represent a long-term shift in how money is accessed and managed in the UK. Acting now is the only way to ensure your financial security and independence. Cash remains a lifeline for millions of UK pensioners, and yet the banking system is moving away from it faster than anticipated. Branch closures, ATM restrictions, and digital-first policies are creating an environment where seniors must be proactive to maintain access to their own money. The more prepared you are today, the safer your finances will be tomorrow. Make sure to subscribe to State Pension Update for daily updates on pensions, DWP changes, and banking rules to stay informed and protect your financial freedom. Pensioners are facing a new reality where cash access is no longer guaranteed. To adapt, seniors should start by reviewing their current bank's policies and withdrawal limits immediately. Some may need to open accounts with banks that still prioritize in-branch services or offer specific support for over 60s. Others might consider arranging scheduled withdrawals to ensure they always have enough cash on hand for bills, groceries, and emergencies. Those living in rural areas, where branch closures and ATM shortages are most severe, should explore community banking initiatives or local credit unions that still maintain traditional cash services. Being proactive is now critical to avoid sudden financial disruptions. Many communities are stepping in to help seniors navigate this cashless transition. Local councils and volunteer organizations often provide guidance on digital banking, help with setting up online accounts, or assist in accessing nearby cash points. Some charities offer programs to teach older adults how to safely use mobile banking apps or online payments without risking fraud. While these resources are valuable, they cannot replace the convenience of accessible physical cash, making it essential for pensioners to combine community support with personal preparation. The move toward digital banking carries financial risks for seniors who are unfamiliar with technology. Older adults who feel pressured to adopt mobile apps or online banking may become targets for fraudsters, phishing attacks, or identity theft. Additionally, the inability to withdraw sufficient cash can lead to missed bill payments, late fees, or overdrafts, which further erodes financial security. Experts warn that without immediate planning, pensioners could face serious hardships, particularly in rural areas or among those living alone, making awareness and preparedness essential. A fully cashless UK would dramatically reshape how pensioners interact with their finances. While digital payments offer convenience for some, older adults may lose autonomy over their spending, as every transaction could be tracked and limited by institutions. Privacy concerns are also significant, as physical money offers a level of discretion and freedom that digital payments cannot replicate. Without accessible cash, the most vulnerable could be excluded from participating fully in everyday life, from local shops to small service providers that only accept cash. Government officials have stated that they are monitoring the situation and promoting access to cash schemes, but enforcement remains weak. MPs have called for stricter regulations to protect vulnerable adults, especially seniors, from being left behind in the digital shift. While some banks are required to maintain a minimum level of cash access, loopholes and lack of oversight mean that many pensioners still face restrictions without recourse. Policy changes expected in 2026 may help, but immediate action is necessary for those currently affected. For pensioners, taking practical steps now can make all the difference. Check withdrawal limits at your local branch, identify alternative banks or credit unions with reliable cash services, and plan withdrawals in advance to avoid emergency shortfalls. Keep a small emergency cash reserve at home if safe, and seek help from family, friends, or community programs to navigate any digital requirements. Awareness and planning are key. The sooner seniors act, the less likely they are to face unexpected financial obstacles. Cash remains essential, and vigilance today ensures safety and independence tomorrow. Cash remains a lifeline for millions of UK pensioners, but branch closures, ATM limits, and digital-first policies are reshaping how older adults access their money. The more prepared you are today, the safer your finances will be tomorrow. Take action now, check your bank's withdrawal policies, plan your cash needs, and explore alternative banking options if necessary. Don't forget to subscribe to State Pension Update for daily updates on pensions, DWP changes, and banking rules. Hit the notification bell so you never miss critical alerts that could affect your financial security. Stay informed, stay prepared, and protect your independence.